morning, everyone. I had a very transformative reading experience yesterday, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because I think it really drives home the message that reading is appropriate for any circumstance, and that there's no right time to read. The right time is always now. That's something that I totally believe, and really this experience sort of drove it home. So for the past few days, I've been trying to read some books, namely The Wide Window, Series of Unfortunate Events, and The Girl Who Soared Over Fairyland and Cut the Moon in Two, I think is what it's called. So I've been trying to read those two books, and I just have not been able to get it. Like, they just haven't been sticking. I've been, like, reading the same page over and over again in The Girl Who Soared Over Fairyland. Like, I have not been able to digest a word of it. And I don't know quite why that is. My concentration levels are really weird. And I can't sit and read a book. So, I was in Indigo yesterday buying pillows. Unrelated. But the pillows I bought are beautiful. And they were on sale, so amazing. Anyway, and I picked up this book called Chasers of the Light, Poems from the Typewriter Series. Now so this is by Tyler Knott Gregson, and I've seen his work before on Facebook. Some of those happiness quotes, whatever stuff. And I just picked it up, and I've been looking at it for a while. So since it came out like last year or the year before, whenever it was, I've been sort of looking at it thinking, oh, I really like this style. But I just opened it and it really hit home with me. Like, it started with him writing haikus, and he would write little haikus, and then he would write them on typewriters, so he couldn't erase what he'd written. So it created this medium that was brutally honest. This was exactly what he was thinking. And there was no editing, no anything. This was just pure word vomit, which doesn't sound very enticing, but it really is. I can feel his soul in this writing, and I think I needed that. I was just at a place in my life where I just needed some connection. And I found that in Chasers of the Light. So, like, here's an example of some of his work. Like, here's just this tiny little typewriter poem. So I think the length of the poem actually contributed to my being able to read it well. And that's because, like, with concentration levels being so weird lately, I just, like, can't sit down and read a book. These little poems, they keep me engaged from the beginning of the poem to the end of the poem because they're so short. You can't physically lose concentration in that amount of time. For me personally, anyway, that's my experience. So, I would be re-engaged every time I started a new poem, which was every page. So I would, look, this one's written on a receipt. I just think it's amazing. And I really felt this book. So I went to the library, and I felt very Hermione-ish, actually. When in doubt, go to the library, whatever. And I decided that, obviously, since I wasn't able to read a full book, I was still able to read something. And maybe poetry would be it. So I went to the library, picked up some fantastic poetry books, and I wanted to share them with you guys. So I picked up Shel Silverstein, Falling Up. I've never read this volume of Shel Silverstein, but he's a fantastic author. I love Where the Sidewalk Ends. That one's amazing. So I'm excited to get into this one. I think I'm gonna really enjoy it, especially because there's nice drawings that go along with it. Nice. Look, they're a bit quirky, but there you go. There's a quirky little drawing for you. And then I picked up a couple of volumes of Kurt Vonnegut books. I think they're actually essays, not quite poetry, but I'm hoping that they'll be short enough for me to comprehend in my state of non-concentration. And I really like Kurt Vonnegut because of some poem or something that I read one time that he wrote, and it was, I can't remember the exact poem, I should have looked it up before this, but I didn't. Anyway, it was to the effect of create for the sheer joy of creating. You know, like, don't expect your creations to be perfect, don't expect your creations to even be good, but just the fact that you're creating something is amazing. And I really feel that, like, I feel like I have the soul of an artist, but I don't have the talent of an artist, if that makes any sense. Not to be self-deprecating or anything, I'm just like, I don't have a talent for art, really. Which is just a thing, right? Some people are really good at drawing and some people aren't. Whatever. But, so I feel like I have the motivation to be an artist, but not the skill. And I sort of feel like, I know Kurt Vonnegut was very skilled, but I feel like we had the same ideas on art. So he would do a drawing just because he wanted to draw, not because he wanted to see the outcome of the drawing. He wanted the sheer joy of creation. And I often feel like I do a lot of the stuff that I do just because I love the art of it. Like making these videos. I don't think anybody watches them. I don't think anybody actually cares, which is fine, whatever. I do it for me. I do it to say, yeah, this is what I've done. You know, it's a tangible thing, and it means a lot to me. So I think that we come from the same, we're cut from the same cloth, you know? We have the same perception of art, and I really found that really meaningful. So I got three books out of the library by Kurt Vonnegut, thinking that maybe I would find some connection there. This last one is called Letters, and it's just a collection of letters that Kurt Vonnegut wrote throughout his life. I don't think it's to one person in particular, but I love writing letters. I write letters all the time. I don't send them, I just keep them in my notebook, and it's just a way of expressing yourself in a way that you don't always do otherwise. So I really liked that. This was just a book of letters, and I'm hoping to find some clarity in his books. So on the same note of letters, I got this book called The Book of Love Letters. Now this just looks really cute. It's the kind of book I think I would want to own rather than just take out of the library, because I don't think I want to read the entire thing from cover to cover. I think I just want to like peruse and see some of the letters, because it's just a collection of love letters. Like just letters from one lover to another. Simple as that. And I really wanted that sort of atmosphere. I wanted that feeling. So this would be the kind of book I would buy, just because I would want to be able to go back to it and reread and not have the pressure of a library return. So I might keep this longer, I might just see how it goes. I might not read it at all, but it's nice to have. The next one I took out is called Come On All You Ghosts, and I actually wanted to read a little bit of it to you guys because I thought it was really good. I skipped the end poem, the very last poem. Haven't actually finished reading it because it's freaking long, but my favorite poem is The Ballad of Reading Gaol by Oscar Wilde, which is like 1,000,000 pages long. I don't know how many pages long it is, but it's a serious poem. And so this one is not that long in comparison, but so there's this one part that I think is really beautiful, so I wanted to read it. We promise to no longer be transactional in our personal dealings. We promise no longer to know some things are important, but one does not need to know why. If the heart makes the sound of two violins sleeping in a baby carriage, then new technologies cannot make us both more loyal and free. Wayward, free, radical dreams, I want to be loyal. I say it once into the darkness. Come on, all you ghosts. Try to make me forget you. So I really liked that. And that, I think, is a good snippet of the poetry. It's all free verse, I think. I don't know if there's a structure to the book. I really like it when books have structure. That sounded stupid, but I meant specifically poetry books, because a lot of poems can be disjointed if you don't have the right flow between them, and I think that flow is really important in books of poetry, and is something that doesn't often get recognized. So having the same theme, having a chronological order to things, some sort of structure, I think is really valuable for poetry books. So I don't know if that fits the criteria in this book, but it just seemed like a nice book. Come on, all you ghosts. The poet is Matthew Zapruder. Anyway, I picked it up. It was a skinny little thing, so I thought I could just whiz through it, especially poetry. You can read it so quickly. Anyway, really liked that one. And then the last one that I took out, oh, I gotta be fast. Gosh, my camera's running out of batteries. Is this Charles Bukowski book, The People Look Like Flowers at Last. I am torn between both loving Bukowski and hating Bukowski, because some of his poems are complete crap. I hate some of his poems. They're just like, yeah, there was one poem about him taking a poo in the bathroom and seeing a cockroach and having like this existential crisis, and I was like, oh my god, why are you writing this down? Like, I get where he's coming from, but it felt so forced. Like, this existential crisis felt forced. Anyway, some of his poetry I adore. I can't get enough of it. There's just a feeling of almost, it's like hope buried inside of hopelessness. So you at first feel very hopeless, and then you get to the end of the poem and you're like, okay, maybe there is some hope. That's the message that I get from a lot of Bukowski's poetry, and I really like that. Yeah. So his poems are short, they're free verse, I have a thing for free verse poetry. I really do. I've written an entire book of basically free verse poetry. Some of it's rhyming, but most of it's free verse. So that's the way my heart speaks, is in free verse poetry. So when I write that, I feel very honest. I feel very myself. And when I read that, I feel a huge connection to whoever wrote that. So I'll probably really enjoy this book, just like all the other ones. But yeah, that is what I got out of the library. This video is super long, so I'm just gonna sign off right now, and I'm really sorry that it's so long. But if you have stuck with me through the video, I thank you, because this was kind of a hard video for me to do. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm on the verge of tears right now, because talking about this poetry really is getting to me. Just because I feel such a connection to, especially this Chasers of the Light, such a connection to this book. Yeah. That's all from me today.